Okay, boys, this will be a bit of a cut short. This is a recording to try and make an OP bomber, or a disgusting bomber, which is probably not going to be OP, but it's just going to be a bit of a nuisance, if I'm really honest with you. You know, the sort of bomber which gets banned. That's the sort of aim here. And here's the bombers the only thing I really actually wanted in all of this. So, let's begin building our bombers of doom. So, of course, we're going to attach all the bombs we can to turn its ground attack into something disgusting. Give it the largest 6 engines we can. Increase drop bombing, reduce night penalty. Yeah. And defense turrets, heavy MG defense turrets, which gives me the largest soft attack. Armor plates, self-sealing. Let's turn it into a weapon of mass destruction. Ah, the weight exceeds the thrust. What a shame. Fine. Put on some light machine guns. No. The weight exceeds the thrust. No. We remove one of these and then add. So reduce the strat bombing to make the air attack and the air defense disgusting. Okay, that'll work until we can upgrade. So flying fortress. Okay, let's take a look. Let's actually break this down. So what was the actual method to this madness? So I tried to put as much air defense and air attack as possible to make these weapons are so disgustingly difficult to shoot down. At the same time, I'm trying to preserve the strat bombing as well. Now, I have done it at the expense of speed, so potentially I will take casualties, but the idea is that they take more casualties than we do in this endeavour. Whether or not that works, of course, open to debate. Now I've got a new engine as well. I don't need extra fuel tanks. I don't need any of this anymore. Yeah, one of these, and one of these. I also go to war economy, which I got to remember to do. So I haven't. Oh, I've lost one. I've lost one bomber in that foray. So far, I've lost one bomber in the course of that bombing. Right, let's take a look. So, first thing first, I need to actually sort this stuff out, and then we can move on. So we have been bombing more or less indiscriminately since the start of the war. Take a look at our year's worth of damage. Of course, it hasn't been a year yet, but we've done this much damage to enemy buildings, and they've disrupted us, of course, this much. In terms of our casualties, they've lost 8 fighters to our 22 bombers, and in that sector. Now, if we take a look over here, enemy buildings 239, 219. Bearing in mind, I've only lost a collection of 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. About 50, 60. About 60 bombers. They have lost 8. 10. Let's go for 10. And they've lost Yeah, 58. So still altogether, it's a pretty shabby performance on from the fighter front. Now, if we tag Germany, let's take a look at the damage of their industry. They're completely totaled. Yeah, like they are completely totaled in terms of industry and resources and so on and so forth. We need to actually select some of their areas. Well, actually, not that bad. I mean, they took a full industry hit. Well, a whole hit industry there. Doesn't look that bad actually looking at it from this perspective. I mean, more of it is rail lines. That's rail lines that have been bombed. And sadly not anything too important. Now, if of course I was bombing civ industry, that might be better. Now, if we take a look at their planes, so a lot of it's rail lines and supply hubs. Nothing too bad, really. I need to probably target it next time. Take a look at their small basic airframe. They have got a whopping 24 attack, air attack, and a 44 agility, then 9 air defense, and they're 539 speed. Now, if we tag over to the USA again, take a look at our lovely production. We have got a whopping 59 air defense, 30 air attack, so more air attack and more air defense, but less agility and definitely a lot less speed. So altogether, strategic bombers, unless you're going to make something to target strategic bombers, they can still continue bombing without any real concerns. So next time, if we're going to start targeting, say, civilian factories over here, and then we start selecting civilian factories over here, and then we start selecting civilian factories over here. See how long that takes to achieve something. I'm not losing a lot. The only thing I would say about this is you do get a lot of disruption. But it doesn't really matter. Because after a certain point, the disruption doesn't matter. Like, everything gets bombed to death. So how is the interference going? Have they actually put anything up to stop us anymore? No, is the answer to that. I mean, we've got some interference here. Well, apart from, yeah, nothing gone up to stop it. So it's January 1942. Let's take a look at the damage. So once again, let's take a look at our bad boys. We've gone and finally upgraded to our advanced large airframe B1. Strapped enough Strat bombers on it to quite literally total a town or city, and started spamming armor on it to make it a completely unkillable weapon of mass destruction unless you aim to kill it. Again, max upgraded engines. We got some radio navigation to increase our strat bombing, but we could just dump on more armor if we wanted, and a couple of defenses just to get some air attack up. Now, as you can see, it hasn't been a lot of our bombers being shot down compared to the enemies. Well, we lost 71 bombers in the space of. Well, we lost 10 bombers in the space of a couple of days. Lost 71, and over years we've lost 101 to the enemy's 12 fighters. Which isn't that bad if you think about the damage it's done in terms of strategic bombing. We've had a lot of disruption, but again, there's just nothing that can really... Bearing in mind these have been unescorted bombers. There's nothing that can be really done to stop the wave. And of course over here, we get interrupted once in a while, but again, if you don't build to take them out, you're just going to lose fighters over it. And of course in Japan, I've lost 5 to their 4. And again, the AI won't build for this, so tag Japan. Let's take a look at the damage. So my aim was to target the ports. As you can see, we've got a couple of ports that have been absolutely smashed to pieces. They're repairing and building some ports, but it's still nothing that's really going to save them. Really, I should probably be aiming for Tokyo and stopping the supply coming out of that. But at the end of the day, I don't mind because it starves everyone else if you just keep bombing the ports. And then, of course, if we tag Italy, which has been second on the list of things getting bombed to pieces. You can see here it's lost all its manpower. Its war support isn't too low. Not too low, actually. It's taking a lot of pasting from ports, and of course inside its main capital it's taking a lot of pasting in terms of infrastructure and supply, but you got to think they've had to put everything on repair now. It's just a complete massacre. And of course we tag Germany on this. I don't even want to look at what the German one is. Yeah. So some of them are repairing guns, some of it is building up rail lines, then all of this is blown apart infrastructure. I'm surprised they've even got enough supply to feed themselves. Well, they don't. Effectively, they don't. So if we collect this unit, it's having to get supplies through here, and then it gets stuck somewhere. I guess goes through here, all the way up to Berlin. Interesting. But yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. So without further ado, let's do our D-Day, and then we'll discuss to see what you could do to stop that madness. Spoilers, probably not a lot. There we are, and we're in. So D-Day done. Lazy D-Day, bad D-Day, but done. Now let's take a look at the damage from our bombing runs. So at this stage we've sort of reached terminal velocity. We haven't made no changes to our air production. I would have got a D-Day earlier, but I got lazy and lost most of my tanks. But anyway, so we still have our disgusting weapons of mass destruction, armored up to the nines with some defense for air attack and some strat bombs. Now if we tag over to Germany, who is still using, bear in mind, the basic fighters and not the good fighters. Still here to see, oh, they're using the improved small airframe to give them 36 air attack and 19 air defense. They're still pretty much in the dark ages and their speed is not good enough. At this stage, it's more or less ogre for the Germans. Like, even with air and with their air disruptions, it's not enough to stop me bombing, and my planes are so survivable. There's nothing stopping them. Like, I don't know how many factories I have. So let's do a rough count. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21. No, 21 civilian factories ain't that bad. It's more everything else that's a pain in the ass. Because they only have 12 from what should be significantly higher supplies. So minus 62% supplies from this. Minus altogether a pretty expected affair. Like, strats were OP beforehand. I suspected strats were going to be OP now. So there's no point further continuing on. So what we'll talk now is about how it could have been countered. So if we take a look at our strat bombers, we can see that towards the end we got... Have they changed it? No, they haven't. We got 86 air defense, agility of 1 because it's so painfully slow. Its max speed is 706, and of course an air attack of 20. So if we took a look like our previous and most commonly used, the Flying Fortress, you can see that this had a strat bombing of 101, an air defense of 59, an air attack of 30. Now if we had changed this a bit and potentially added instead more armor, okay, we couldn't add any more armor, so we'd have to go to electronics, we'd have to go to special modules, self-sealing fuel tank, and got that air defense to 71. So if we went something more like this, where'd it go? Oh, I love it when it disappears into nothingness. There it is. What would you need to sort of contest this disgusting weapon of filth? So if we take a look, as a max speed of 500, so if we tag over to well, if we just go research. So if we researched a fighter, a 1940 fighter, let's say a 1940 fighter, produced our 1940 fighter, so let's compare it. So this bad boy is garbage, we don't care about that one. Care about this one. This one. 71 is our big one, and then 20 is our next one. So you could beat the air attack, but not enough to overcome the air defense. So we need to do some more research. We research some cannons. Instead, put some cannons on it. Oh, 2 times cannon 1. Let's take a look at that. You might be able to get high enough to kill it at the cost of your agility and your speed. Or if you went to 2 times cannon 2, you would be able to kill it. So if you maxed with a light fighter cannons to get up to air attack 84, you would be able to kill it, but you'd have a max speed of 350. Let's see if we adjust that. So what was the max speed on this again? Was it 2 times engine 3, 530? Save it. And then take a look at max speed on this, 500. So if you proper invested in your cannons to get, if you went all the way down to this cannons 2, you would be able to knock out those strategic bombers. The only problem being that it would take a lot of research to counter as per the old meta, and also it would be at a massive disadvantage when compared to a fighter only or a fighter only build. So although strats are still disgusting, unless you really went into armor as a strat, I don't think you'd be able to counter a full a killer. What do you call it? Unless you decided to sacrifice your bombing like so, and then get the cannons out. Cannon defense turret, air attack 80, 6, 14, 8, 4. Maybe if you like sacrificed your bombing for pure armor, then maybe you'd get away with it. Maybe. Let's go back down over to our basic one again. You only get a ground attack of 30. You only get a strat bomb of 39 from this. No, no. You would still get slapped. You would still get slapped. What if you max research to the engine 4 before game end? No, you'd still get slapped. No. So comparatively, a strat bomb would still lose to a strat killer fighter plane if it did full investment, which is interesting. Which is quite interesting. I wonder if there's another thing that improves your defense a bit better than the alternative. Self-sealing, so that's 83, that's 83, and it's less weight, so why wouldn't I use this instead? Oh, you can only use one, that's why. Can I perhaps put some strat bombers in now? Oh yes, I can. I can put a lot of strat bombers on. Oh, this is the improved airframe again. What is this garbage? No. Oh no, that's correct. That's correct. So you could play around with it, but I still think at the end of the day, if you did max into strat killers, you'd get away with it. Still, that's pretty interesting. This is going to be a recording one, so I'm going to do some editing after this to see what it'd be like. But yeah, pretty interesting build. I think strats can be countered, but again, strats could be countered in the previous meta, but the amount of research and investment that had to go into countering it meant that most meta lobbies had him banned or heavily limited. I still think the amount of damage the strats did was okay, but not enough to. Well, it was enough to disable a nation. It was enough to disable a nation. So you'd still need to be forced to counter it. And I feel like there was more damage done to the bombers with ground AA than it was actually by the fighters themselves. But again, it was the AI building their planes, and so of course they were going to be garbage. Still, pretty interesting builds. Pretty dull USA game, but most USA games are dull. So what do I think about strat bombers? It's still old meta. It's just old meta. Strat bombers could be countered in old meta, but they're just a pain to do so. Strat bombers can be countered in this meta, but it's just a pain to do so. That's the only. There's not much takeaway from this. And of course, you can build disgusting strats that ignore basic fighters, but at the same time, you could build disgusting strats in the previous version that could ignore fighters. So it's a bit of a non-issue. It's just a case of it's just no real change from the previous meta. No real change, no real adjustments. So you can probably see strats still banned, and you're just still going to see fighter spam and cast spam and tax spam. That's all you're really going to see, or their versions of it. But that's me done, boys. I'll see you all later. This will be a video, not a stream, and we'll talk about it at a later date. Adieu.